Well, I came right before the huge flood. I went to the Guatemala MTC. So it was me and 4 other sisters who got to the MTC together, and we called it the Sesame. That was weird. Culture change. And so I was there for 2 weeks with these 5 other sisters, and then there were a few other sisters that came before us. And then they told us there are like 50 sisters coming. Like, it was ridiculous. I think, yeah, something around 50 sisters came. It was a flood, and it was really fun. Have fun. Mm-hmm. I feel like if you don't have fun, you can go crazy. Because you're in a little place with the same people. And I mean, you need a balance. You have to work hard. You know, I'm not saying go do whatever, make trouble. Because we have that mantle. We have to act accordingly. But I had so much fun with my district. We made it fun and worthwhile. And I was only there for 6 weeks, so it kind of flew. The first day that we left the MTC, I wanted to kiss the ground because we went to Guatemala City for P-Day, and I was like, oh my gosh, real people. It was fun. Yeah, the night before we go to the transfer meeting, we have like a welcome from our mission president. And me and my companion from the MTC kept badgering him, like, who's our companion? We wanted to know if they were Latino or not. And he was like, sisters, they're Latinos, they don't know English. And I was like, oh no, I'm gonna die. I was like, I can't communicate in Spanish. Like, what am I gonna do with a companion that doesn't speak English? And I was worrying all night, but I got there. I was the second to last girl to get her companion, so I like knew it was either her or her. And I was like, it was a Dominican girl and a Guatemalan girl, and they were both awesome. I love Dominicans because there's a lot in Philly, so I was like, oh, I hope I get the Dominican. And they put your name and your face on the screen next to your companion, so it's like really dramatic. And they were like, Hermana Infanzin, you're going to be trained by Hermana Dumay in Las Arboledas. And I got the Dominican, and I was so happy, except / scared, because I was like, what? How am I going to talk to her? First day, literally, you get out of the change meeting, and it's like, run. And it's like, go talk to people. We get on this bus that's like, the bus from Harry Potter 3 in the beginning? That's the bus in El Salvador. That's what it's like. They like squeeze through these roads and they go as fast as lightning. Oh my gosh. And I was like, whoa, I can't handle this and talk to a stranger right now. My companion was like, talk to the person behind you. I was like, what? But I actually was really excited the first day. Like, I'm a go-getter. Like, I was like, let's do it. In my head, of course, I was like, how am I gonna do it in Spanish? But I did it. So I turned around to the person behind me and I was like, hola, soy una misionera, 10 minutes long. And they're just looking at me like, okay. But the girls around me, the hermanas, were like, yeah, you did it. I was like, okay, I can do this. After the bus, we get to our house, we sit down, have planning meeting for 10 minutes, and then she's like, let's go. My trainer had not been in our area yet. We both were new. So that was fun. The area book was not really filled out well. We didn't know. There were I recall there being 8 investigators that we could get any information on or contact, and they were not progressing. So it was starting from the bottom. The first few days, we called a member to leave with us, and we were like in a trio. So I was falling behind these two Latinas. I had no idea where I was going, what I was doing. I just did whatever my companion told me. She was like, let's go left. So I went left, and she was like, okay, now we're gonna go visit this person. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand her. I'm just gonna follow. It was so hard the first couple days. Like, I felt like in limbo. Like, I was like, I just didn't know what I did that day when I got home, you know? It was like, it was weird, like, and she got frustrated, not like, she wasn't angry, you know, but she was like, this is hard to deal with. Like, she's really fast too, you know? She walked fast, she talked fast. She's Dominican, she talked really fast. And she was like, I mean, she was an amazing missionary. She was always going for it. So it was hard for her, for this little like American girl trying to keep up. But we did it, and we did a great job. Like, I had no idea how great we did because I was new. Like, I just thought, oh yeah, we have like 8 baptism dates this week, and that was a pretty big deal in our zone. People were like, wow, those hermanas echando fuego. Like, they're on fire. And I was like, I don't know. Isn't this what we're supposed to do? Gosh, my trainer was amazing. She was so good. I had no idea how good she was until she left me. That was probably the biggest culture shock for me. The first thing. We get in the house and I'm like, I'm gonna live like this. It's just different from America. So different. Cockroaches live with you. And the hardest thing for me was taking a shower. Our shower head wasn't working, so we had to use a bucket of water. Cold water. And I remember the first time I showered, I was crying so much. I was bawling. I was like, I can't live like this. How am I gonna do this every day for 18 months? And my companion knocks on the door. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, fine. But like, that was when it hit me. Like, I'm in El Salvador. I don't have a shower. I don't have a pillow. I didn't have all of the things we get in America. And at first I was like, I don't know, you get angry. Not angry, but you're like disappointed. And then I got used to it. And it was just the way of life, you know? I had a good system of showering with a bucket. When my trainer left and I started training, I had to put on a good face. So I pretended like everything was great, and then it suddenly did become great. I can't really remember the like transition, but I had to be like, this is fine, this is great, we shower buckets. And then I was like, no, but really, it's fine. My mission was completely walking. Like, the only people that had a car were the office people. So, walking, running, I'm just kidding, sometimes, and using the bus. That was fun. Yeah, you're on a roller coaster on the bus, and you're in a clown car because they fit as many people as they can in. There were times where I was just hanging out of the bus, holding on the rail, just hanging there. The only thing I had was holding on for my dear life, and they were going so fast, and I was just hanging there like, oh my gosh, if I let go, I'll die. Like, that's dangerous. So I would recommend not doing that in El Salvador. I'm sure the mission president would not approve of it, but there were times when you just had to jump on and you couldn't get in. Oh, I believe in the gift of tongues. I think it was not as bad as it should have been, as it would be if I didn't have that extra help, because I struggled at first, but I pushed. I mean, you really have to work for it if you want to learn the language, because they're sisters We're elders that never really learned the language, you know? I don't know if you saw that in your mission, but if you don't want to, you're not going to. You have to want to learn. And I think I honestly could handle a conversation in 4 months. Like it went fast. And I was surprised. I mean, my whole mission I was improving. But by 4 months, I felt good about the language. Yeah, I was frustrated in the beginning of my mission because I couldn't focus on the people because I couldn't understand their problems. And I was like, how am I going to be a missionary if I don't know what I'm doing? I don't know what they're saying. So after I learned the language, it felt good. It was like, okay, now I can focus on them. And I mean, there was good and bad to both, you know? Like, when you couldn't speak the language, I feel like the Spirit did hit them harder when you spoke. And the things you said were, like, strong because it was all you knew. So it had to be good. Yeah, you're desperate. And they, like, see it. They're like, wow, these people are serious. Because you're like, I'm just a girl from Philadelphia who has never been outside of the country and barely knows the language, but I know this is true, so please listen. And they're like, okay. Oh, they had doorbells.
Okay.
And when they didn't have doorbells, you knocked really hard or you shouted because they had a lot of gates. I found that people were way more open when you asked them for help first. So you would say, do you know how to get here? Or do you know who this person is? They'd be like, oh, sure. And they'd talk to you. And then you put in your little tidbit. If you're going to serve in El Salvador, don't worry about the clothes because you're going to sweat them all through in the first week. I worried so much about the clothes I was going to bring to my mission. And I wish I didn't because I wasted time. Don't worry about it. You're going to throw them out before you go home. You need shoes that protect your feet. Well, we don't get luxury of wearing sandals even though it's so hot because there's really gross stuff on the ground. I mean, there's a lot of trash. There's dogs that can bite you. Be as protected as you can. And the roads are rocky. It doesn't make sense to wear sandals. Just wear comfy shoes. Oh, but I had a pair of shoes that I loved called Oka B. I don't know if that's advertising them, but I loved them. If girls want to look at those, they lasted me my whole mission, and they were cute and comfy. So my regret was not preparing by not reading Preach My Gospel before. I touched it. I did not read it. I should have read it because you need the time for spiritual progression and learning the language. That takes up 95% of your time. It should take up 100, but you have those moments where you need your English. I just recommend that girls and the guys, missionaries, that they read the manual of Preach My Gospel first. Oh my gosh, Preach My Gospel is so awesome. It's the scriptures for a missionary. It has everything you need. If I didn't read Preach My Gospel before, after, during, at all times, I would not have made it through. It gives you the tools. I don't know. I love it. His name was Orlando. And he was sitting outside of his house and we were contacting, and he was really drunk. Really drunk. And we just go up to him, and you know how when you confront someone, you always mention the restoration. That's the first thing you talk about. I just felt like we had to talk about the plan of salvation with this man. So I start telling him, we're missionaries, yada, yada, yada. We believe that families can be together forever after death. I don't know how, but I hit something there. He just starts bawling. like this man, this little drunk man just starts crying. And I'm like, oh no, I hope I didn't say anything bad. But he just says, really? Like, I'm going through such a hard time. My wife died a few months ago and my family's falling apart. Like, can you come teach me? And he wanted us to come in right then. We were like, actually, we can't be in the house with a man alone, and you're really drunk, so we'll come back. But we were like, yes, we'll come back for sure. The problem was we couldn't find him for a whole month. I tried every day to contact this man, and I don't know what it was, but I had something in me, this initiative to go find this man. It was like frustrating for me. I was like, why? He's never home when we knock. Literally, my companions were like, just give up on him. Like, you're supposed to move on, right? After 2 contacts. I couldn't. So a month later, we found him. We found him in a very different state than what he was in that first day. He was a changed man. He said to us in his first lesson that he felt something that day, that he felt a need to just stop drinking and change his life. And he did it on his own. And that was amazing. And I was just taken aback. Like, this man did it through Jesus Christ. It was hard when people put the credit on the missionaries, and I didn't like that. But he constantly went back to it and said, I'm so grateful that Christ did this for me, that the Savior had brought me through that. I felt so good knowing that this person had a conversion that was going to last him his whole life. Like, he experienced the atonement on his own. We weren't even there to, like, help. We just started it. And he did it on his own. He changed. Within a few weeks, he was ready for baptism. And he did it. And that's why he's my favorite. Because he was so great, like, on his own, you know? He just understood. It just clicked for him. Most humble man I've ever met. He changed me. He changed my life forever. I mean, it was the Spirit, you know? I knew there's some reason I had to find him. I was like, I don't know why I'm feeling this, but if I am, why is it not happening? Like, I feel like there's something about this man I need to find, but I'm not. Like, am I getting the wrong signal or what? Because my companions were getting a little tired of it. They were like, okay, like, we're supposed to check him off. Like, he's supposed to be contacted and you can't find him. But I was like, no, I can't help it. It was actually when my companion that we first contacted him, she left. A new companion came in. And I was like, sweet. She has no idea how many times I've gone. So I, like, started over. Because I did kind of go back after a few weeks. My companion was like, hey, let's not contact him. But yeah, every chance I had, like, intercambio, new companion, I was like, gotta go knock on that door. And now I know why. I can't describe how blessed I feel for the companions I had. I didn't get any bad ones. Like, everyone talks about their rough companions. I feel like I just had amazing sisters. And when you believe, I had 13 companions. That's a lot for a sister. I had a companion every change, go through every change except for my trainer, and one sister I had 3 transfers with. Otherwise, just going through companion after companion, and trios too. So, but really, oh my gosh, they were so amazing. I don't know. I can't describe how much I learned from them, the love I feel for them. they were all so happy. Like, none of them got angry. They were humble girls. Because I was a senior companion my whole mission, except for twice when I was being trained, and then when I was being trained as a sister leader. And that was a lesson for me, because I'm not good at following. I like leading. So I know that those were the hardest changes for me personally, and for my companions, because I gave them a hard time. All of my companions that I trained or that I was with were just so humble, really teachable, reminded me to do that as well. I feel like my mission, part of it was training, because I trained 3 times, and the first 2 times was 2 sisters. So I trained 5 sisters, and I felt like I was training a lot. So I feel like that was part of like just helping the sister missionaries. And I felt so good, like, when I could help one of them. I don't know, it's just the same as doing the work for investigators, but more personal, because you're like with them all the time. But right when my trainer left me, I didn't finish training yet. She left me early. And then I had to train 2 new sisters. Can you imagine that? Like, that was... Whoa. I had 10 weeks of training instead of 12. Partly because the mission split the day I got there, so the change was shorter. So that was fun. The first day we were lost, and they didn't know that. I mean, they knew, they caught on, but they didn't know how lost we were. I was like, shoot, where the heck am I? And I have these 2 new sisters falling behind me, and I remember how they feel because I was just there. I'm trained by Hermana Dumay for 6 weeks, and then a sister comes in with us in my training, the second half. So I'm in a trio, my second half of training for 4 weeks. They both leave, I stay in the area, and I get 2 new sisters. 1 change later, they leave, and I get 2 new sisters. Then I leave, and I get trained to be a sister training leader. And then I'm with another sister a change after that. Then I go to my 3rd area, and I had 3 changes with Hermana Henry. Then she left, and I had 1, 2, 3 companions after that, consecutively changes. And I finished training on my mission, my new sister. So, just so much change. I don't know how I did it. I didn't do it on my own, I know that, because that was hard, but so fun. So I trained 2 girls twice, and both times was a Latina and a Americana. Everyone says they hate trios, but I loved mine. I understand why, because they think 2 of them always pair off and then one's left out.
Exactly.
But you have to work on it. Like, you don't have to do that. You just work hard on being together. You just have to work at it. It was hard work, you know? Well, being in a trio is hard, I guess. But fun if you do it the right way. When you got tired of watching, you could go to the other. I'm just kidding. Like, that dynamic I feel like was good. Like, I don't know, it was like a sleepover every night. We had fun. I loved my trios. I started my mission, I felt like a girl, and I left, I felt like a woman. Like, I felt like so matured, even though I'm not. I still have a lot to work on. Oh man, but boy did I change. For the better, thankfully. I think one of the things that I learned most was this love of service and just forgetting yourself. In the beginning, it's hard because you're just focused on what you don't have, what you're not doing, what they don't understand about you, you know? It's hard to forget yourself. But toward the end, I remember just caring so much about these people. I love them so much, and I miss them. And I know that everything I did was because of Jesus Christ. I couldn't have done it without him, and I learned how to just focus my life with him in it. I think that's the best thing I could have learned on my mission, because the mission is like an MTC for life, and it doesn't mean you're not having trials after the mission. It just means you know better how to handle them. If I could go back and tell myself what to do, I would just say, love as much as you can. I know that's probably what all the sisters say. But it's seriously, like, it's everything. If you love the people, and you love the work, and you love Jesus Christ, then it's all gonna work out. You know, you always like learn something on your mission, in the end you're like, I wish I knew that in the beginning. I learned just be obedient and stop worrying about like stop trying to control everything, you know? Just be obedient, and like you will be brought to prepared people. Because I had an experience with my companion. I think we had a 70 come and invite us to pray to find the prepared people. I think we were doing it for 2 days, and on the second day, this young man comes up to us and says, aren't you sister missionaries from the Mormon church? Don't you prepare people to be baptized? I was like, boy, did he answer that prayer and more. It was amazing. Like, that was a huge testimony builder to me. Like, the people are there. They're ready. There's so many people who are waiting. Just be obedient, and like you'll be led to it, you know? You don't have to know how at the time. You have to keep your goal in mind. Like, saying the missionary purpose is not just to say it. Like, if you say it and you think about it, like, you will just do it. You know, it comes natural to you, missionary work, when you do it out of love. And you just learn to ask inspired questions. I think inspired questions are amazing. Like, they bring the spirit really fast, and they lead the person to pretty much tell themselves that it's true. You don't have to convince them. But yeah, I was just thinking how important it was that you teach people and not lessons. Like, a missionary can get caught up really quick in the numbers, but just go back to the purpose. Just remember why you're there and the love that you have for Jesus Christ, and think about the love that he has for them. Like, for me, that was my instant. Like, if I'm falling into that mindset of like, oh no, I need another lesson by the end of the day, I just thought, how does Jesus Christ look at this person? And instant love for them, for the whole world.